if you go hunting the wildlife managed area or the big woods, you've got to understand you're taking a challenge on, a real challenge, and you're going to have to be a woodsman, and you're going to have to learn to read the woods, and you're going to have to learn woodsmanship. A very famous hunter has killed a lot of 200-inch deer with his bow up in Ohio. Good friend of mine, I really like him. He told me, he said, Bobby, I really struggle with hunting the big woods. And I said, maybe you don't struggle at all with hunting the big woods. Maybe you struggle with your expectations of hunting the big woods. And he said that very well could be true. And the trouble with your expectations being out of line with reality is that you may very well have the way to success right in front of you, but because of your expectations were not correct, then you will go looking for something else, and you will not devote enough time to it. So that's two important words. Another one that I talk about a lot in my new book and really stress is the mathematics of something. And I tell in there that you may have heard trophy whitetail bow hunting called a lot of things, but you bet you've never heard it called this, and that's exactly what it is. It is mathematics. It's all about finding ways to increase your odds that a giant buck will walk in front of you. And I stress that when I talk about the funnel aspect of it, hunting funnels. And I say, you may spend a lot of time in the woods and find a great trail with a lot of rubs on it, and you might set up on it, and in a week or two, if you're hunting the right time and the right way, a trophy buck might come through and you might kill it. But what if you find 2 such places and 3 such places or 4 such places? Now, if you hunt all 4 of them at the same time, you have quadrupled your chances of success. You have quadrupled your odds, your mathematical odds, that you will kill a buck there 4 times as much. So bow hunting trophy whitetail, as well as most any endeavor in life, is the mathematics of it, finding ways to increase the mathematical odds of success. Years ago, a guy writing a book wanted me to write a few chapters in it. He had several of us writing chapters in it. He mentioned this one guy, and I said, I don't believe I'd use that fella. He said, why? And I said, I don't believe he's doing things right. And he said, well, what makes you say that? He's the nicest, most humble guy, and he's killed these giant bucks. And I said, looky here now. I said, let's just look at the mathematics of it. This guy is half the age of me, you, Roger Rothair, Gene Wenzel, Barry, some well-known great hunters, and he's killed double the giant deer that we have. I said, the mathematics don't add up. And sure enough, a little later on, he was busted. It was all, he was a fraud. Yep. So in life, I always look at the mathematics of a thing. And sometimes, if you're going into a business adventure or you're going out there to try to kill a giant buck, sometimes you want so bad for 4 + 4 = 5 that you might just go right ahead with it, knowing good and well that 4 and 4 does not equal 5. So you've got to consider the mathematics of a thing.
When you're talking about the mathematics and that situation where, like, you found 4 great spots to kill a giant, and if you hunted them all at the same time, you quadrupled your odds. Now, how would you go about hunting 4 spots at the same time, like when you're explaining that?
Okay, by finding, say you've got 4 good heavy corridors, all of them got buck sign on it. Well, if you carry those out, say they're in the same patch of woods, if you carry those out far enough and they come up on a ditch, the head of a ditch, and they all are forced together because they're going around that particular ditch, then you have, most good funnels I hunt have 4 or more trails coming together. So you're quadrupling your chances of success. So actually, mathematically, you've got the same success in one day as you have going back somewhere before you find where they come together and hunting the individual travel corridors on 4 different days. It's all simple mathematics. That is so important because there's just so many days of prime rut. And during those days, if the temperature, here's something that really will throw your expectations in a whirlwind. And there's nothing we can do about it. There's a few things in trophy hunt that will affect our success that we can do nothing about. Let's say you're hunting a wildlife managed area to begin with, so you're not got a great number of bucks you might consider a trophy. And let's say you go in there and get set up in a tight funnel where 4 or 5 trails come together, where that buck is going to, if he's traveling long distance and don't even know the area, he'll hit a trail and go down it because to begin with, that's the best way to find girls. And the next place is he knows that that's probably a safe route and will work the terrain like he needs to, so he won't have to go down a steep hill. So he'll hit a trail, or he may not even hit a trail. He may just come up on a big, deep ditch. And you've seen them old bucks walk stiff-legged in the rut. Increased movement in their age, give them arthritis, and they'll go around that. And before you know it, they're going right around it the same way all the other deer are going around it. The thing about a funnel is the same thing that funnels does and other deer that makes those trails going around the funnel will funnel mature bucks when they get to moving, of course. But anyway, let's say you've got a great place, and let's say you say, well, I'm hunting wildlife managed area. I know my expectations are not great, but I have done what Bobby said. I've quadrupled my chances. And then let's say the first week of November, let's say from the 1st to the 6th or 7th, is unseasonably warm. Let's take this into consideration because it seems like more and more we're having warm temperatures during the rut. I don't think humans has a thing to do with it, but we just have to accept that fact. Back years ago around here when I was growing up, we'd have 5 or 6, 7 big snows a year. Now it's very odd to have one. So let's say it's very warm that first week of November. And the bucks maybe travel an hour in the morning, maybe an hour in the evening, maybe an odd cookie might run during the middle of the day. But the biggest part of their movement is going to be during dark hours when it's a little cooler. Now let's just say we switched that temperature, and now let's just say we've got a week with the highs in the 50s. Then your expectations can really rise. You can test your theory because instead of having 1 or 2 hours in the morning, maybe 1 hour in the evening, 3 hours of buck movement, you've got 12 hours. Now what does that do to the mathematics? Shoots them sky high. So expectations, mathematics, and time devoted to the task are all paramount in the chances of success, and a few other things that I often stress. So it's the temperature at the right time is one of the greatest things. Every technique in the world won't work if there's no mature bucks in those woods. Same exact thing if the temperatures are such that they're not moving. They have to move and move a lot for one of them rare giants on public land to come by you. But if it's cold, you've increased your odds 12 times over, say, 12 hours, 12 times over 3 hours. So the mathematics again. So many people has been discouraged here lately because they thought they was going to kill a good buck. They think they have things kind of figured out, and then before you know it, they've got warm temperatures. So that's when I hunt my long-range funnels. I start about November 3rd through the month of November. I expect the greatest success from the 3rd to about the 8th. But now I do use other tactics. I do hunt a mature buck in his individual core area from about October 25th until about November 3rd. I don't know how we got off onto that, but so many people find a big scrape or a big sign and they get real excited. Buck's in there 1st October making a sign as he's going through at night, checking on does and whatever, and he makes a big sign. They get excited and they'll set up, and by the middle of October, they have destroyed their chances of success.